Those born under these zodiac signs are under the protection of the Lord their entire lives. There are people who are untouched by evil. They are not broken by the blows of fate, not consumed by envy, and not stopped by fear. Their steps are like blessings, because an invisible force stands above them, the protection of the Lord Himself. When others fall, they rise. When everything around them is destroyed, they are protected by a miracle. And today you will find out who these chosen ones are. Which signs of the zodiac have the most powerful spiritual armor through which no darkness can pass? It is not just luck or coincidence, it is a higher mission that leads them through trials, purifying and elevating them. Every day of their lives is proof that God's hand holds them firmly, even when the world shakes. So if you want to know if you are one of those whom the Lord Himself has taken under His protection, stay tuned until the end. Subscribe now so you don't miss the main revelation, because what lies ahead may change your view of your own destiny forever. The first sign is Leo. Leo is a sign that God has given the strength to stand where others fall. People born under this sign have inner confidence and a natural sense of self-worth, which becomes their shield in any trial. They seem to carry an invisible light that never fades, even on the darkest days. They cannot be broken. God does not allow this to happen. Everything that happens in their lives, even what seems like a loss, turns out to be part of a grand plan that leads them to strengthen their spirit. They may be surrounded by difficulties, but they always remain steadfast because their strength is not of this world. It lies in the confidence that a higher power is at their side and will not allow them to fall. Inside a Leo is the determination to act even when fear paralyzes others. Their path is not easy because greater challenges always await the strong. But Leo is never alone. When darkness surrounds them, it is as if an invisible hand wards off danger. This is no coincidence. It is a sign that their path is predetermined. Such a person can be confident that even if their world falls apart, everything will come back together in the right order. Leos are born to lead, inspire, and set an example. God chose them not for an easy life, but for a life that has meaning. They are given trials not as punishment, but as a test of their strength of spirit. And every time they get up after a fall, their faith becomes stronger. Even when it seems that all doors are closed, one door opens for Leo, the only one, but the right one. They do not need random gifts of fate, because their blessing is confidence in their own mission. They do not seek miracles, they become them. There is always a special energy around Leo, warm, strong, inspiring faith, even in those who have lost it. It is as if God shows through them what true resilience looks like. Their heart is not just an organ, it is a source of warmth for everyone around them. That is why they always have people around them who trust them, even if they themselves cannot explain why. In a world ruled by chaos, Leo stands as a symbol of order, honor, and faith. They carry a burden that no one else could bear, but they do not complain because they understand that it is part of their destiny. Sometimes they go through moments when it seems that the whole world is against them, but that is when the power of God is most evident. They are given trials to show others that it is possible to go through a storm and not lose oneself. They do not need to prove their worth. It is already inherent in their nature. Leo is not afraid of loneliness, because he knows that the one who guides his steps is always near. When others doubt, he moves forward. When everyone gives up, he finds the strength to continue. and that is why his life always has a special meaning. His decisions often seem risky, but the inner voice that guides him is never wrong. God gives Leo not only physical strength, but also the power of conviction. His word carries weight. His presence carries influence. People are drawn to him because they sense something in him that exceeds ordinary human energy. This blessing cannot be seen with the eyes, but it can be felt with the heart. In any group, in any circle of people, Leo will always be the one who gives direction, even if he does not seek power. It is his nature to lead, not to obey. God protects such people, because through them he maintains balance. When injustice appears in the world, it is Leo who stands between the weak and the threat. He may be silent, but when he speaks, every word has power. His life path is filled with moments that others would call miracles, but for him it is simply the natural course of things. Because he believes that if something happens, then it is meant to be. Even in the most difficult times, they do not lose their faith in goodness. Their calmness and confidence are a gift that they bring to the world. Leo does not succumb to panic because he knows that if he remains strong, others will find support in him. God protects such people from defeats that could break them, but allows them to experience difficulties so that they never lose compassion for those who are weaker. Their destiny is not about ease. It is about strength that is tested and faith that never fades. Each of Leo's victories is proof that heaven is truly on his side. And even when the world seems unfair, Leo moves forward, knowing that there is a power above him that will not allow him to fall lower than he should, and will always lift him up when the time comes. The second sign is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a sign whose destiny seems to have been written by the hand of God. His path is always accompanied by the amazing feeling that there is an invisible guardian above him who will not let him stray from the path. He combines faith, determination, and the ability to see meaning where others see only chaos. Sagittarius has an inner compass that guides them through life, even when surrounded by darkness. God does not give them peace, but instead gives them vision, clear, direct, pure. Everything that happens in this person's life has a higher purpose. They do not always understand it right away, but over time they realize that no turn was accidental. Those born under the sign of Sagittarius are people with a natural sense of truth. They cannot tolerate lies, falsehood, or hypocrisy. God seems to have given them the ability to distinguish truth from deception, and so they often speak out as the voice of conscience where others remain silent. Their mission is not only to live honestly themselves, but also to remind others of the value of purity of intention. Sagittarians have the ability to notice subtle details that others miss, and it is thanks to this that they always find themselves in the right place at the right time. Their path is not always easy, but it is always fair. When life tests them, God does not turn away. He stands by them as if saying, "You can do it," and they really can. For them, every defeat is not the end, but a lesson. Every victory is not a reason for pride, but an opportunity to do good. They are never alone, even if it seems that there is no one around. In the most difficult moments, they suddenly feel a strength that comes from nowhere, and it is this strength that has saved them from falling more than once. Sagittarians are people whom God sends into the world to move. They cannot stand still, because every step they take has meaning. They seek, travel, discover, learn, and every experience enriches them spiritually. It is as if God Himself guides their paths, leading them away from danger, and bringing them to those who need their support. Their faith is not in words, but in actions. They do not make loud speeches, but live in such a way that their example speaks louder than any words. There is something unusual about the ease with which Sagittarius goes through storms. They may find themselves in a situation that seems hopeless to others, but they will find a way out. It is as if God clears the way for them, not to make the path easier, but to show that trust in higher powers is always rewarded. Such people have incredibly strong inner energy, and it is this energy that attracts help. Even when Sagittarius is on the brink, something happens at that very moment that changes the course of events. Someone will help, a door will open, unexpected support will arrive. This is no coincidence. It is a sign that he is not alone. Their thoughts often go beyond the personal. They think in terms of goodness, justice, and service. And God supports such people because through them, the world does not lose its bearings. Sagittarius always sees further than others. His intuition is not just a feeling, it is a guide. When everyone else doubts, he acts, and his actions turn out to be right. His confidence is not arrogance, but the result of a constant connection with something higher, beyond explanation. Sagittarians never bow their heads to injustice. They are made to fight, not with a sword, but with the power of conviction. Their calmness and straightforwardness inspire trust, and even those who initially disagree eventually admit that their truth is deeper. God gives them the ability to influence hearts, and this is their main strength. They do not need to seek glory. It comes to them because the world sees their sincerity. When others get tired, Sagittarius finds new strength. They do not allow themselves to stop because they know that every step leads to something important. God has often placed obstacles in his path, but none of them have been in vain. They have made him stronger, wiser, and deeper. He does not seek revenge or hold grudges because he understands that every event has meaning. His inner freedom is a reflection of the spiritual heights to which his faith has raised him. Sagittarius never falls completely. Even if he is knocked down, he gets up faster than anyone has time to feel sorry for him. God does not allow him to remain in darkness for long. Sometimes he even deliberately allows a short pause so that Sagittarius can understand how strong the light within him is. Such people do not live just to exist. They came into this world to inspire it, to move it forward, to remind it that justice and faith never disappear. A fire always burns in Sagittarius's heart, pure, true, unquenchable. God made him this way so that this fire would light the way not only for him, but also for those around him. He does not need proof that he has protection from above. He feels it with every cell, in every event, every day. And so even when there is a storm around him, he stands steady, with a clear gaze and a confident step, because he knows that above him is a power that never abandons its own. The third sign is Capricorn. Capricorn is a sign that combines human strength and divine endurance. Those born under it seem to be created to prove that true stability does not need noise. It lives in the silence of confidence. God has given them a special mission to bring the light of stability to a changing world where most people seek easy paths. Capricorns never seek simplicity because they know that true value is born only through work, trials, and discipline. That is why God not only protects them, but also strengthens them, every day, imperceptibly but unbreakably. Their strength is not in words, but in actions. When others complain, Capricorn silently takes a step forward. His life is a sequence of conquered peaks. But none of them were conquered without spiritual support from above. There is an invisible support that is always there. In the most difficult moments, when it seems that it is impossible to go on, it is then that God gives them that invisible energy that does not allow them to stop. Capricorns may not talk about faith, but they live by it. In every decision, in every movement, there is a deep sense of inner order that does not allow him to retreat. These are people who carry the burden of responsibility and do so with dignity. God protects them not from difficulties, but through difficulties. He does not remove obstacles from their path, but gives them the strength to rise above them. Therefore, Capricorns rarely have an easy life, but almost always have a meaningful one. And this meaning is not in loud events, but in the ability to remain steadfast when chaos reigns around them. Their calmness is not indifference, it is confidence that a higher order always exists, even when it is not visible. God chooses such people for special tasks. When others are lost, it is Capricorn who is able to maintain structure. They can be a support for others, even when they themselves are tired. But that is precisely why they are given so much strength. Their endurance is not human. It is a manifestation of the spiritual energy that God put into them at birth. In a world where most people succumb to panic, Capricorn remains sober, precise, and confident. His calmness is a shield. His determination is a sword. There is something majestic in the way they endure trials. They do not rebel. They do not ask for relief. They simply accept and move on. And it is in this that God sees their faithfulness. They do not need many words to prove their strength. Capricorns prove it through their daily deeds. God seems to say to them, "I will not make your path easy, but I will make you someone who can endure any path." And they endure. They have a special sense of time. They are in no hurry, because they understand that everything comes when it is meant to come. God protects them from haste, from wrong decisions, from the temptation to give up. They are given patience, and this is not a punishment, but a gift. Because it is thanks to Peter George, this patience that they receive what others only dream of. Their life is like a slow but steady climb to the top, and the higher they climb, the clearer they see that every step was part of a grand plan. There is always a palpable energy of calm around such people. They are not prone to chaos. They do not get lost in details. God has given them an inner compass that always points in the right direction. They don't need to look for signs. They themselves feel when to act and when to wait. Their intuition is based not on emotions, but on inner harmony. And it is this harmony that is the bridge that connects them to divine protection. Capricorns never waste words, but if they make a promise, they keep it. This also manifests their spiritual nature. Loyalty, honesty, and duty are not just traits, but a form of service. Such people do not need public recognition. It is enough for them to know that they have done the right thing. The Lord sees their work even when the world does not notice it, and rewards them not with glory, but with inner peace, which is more precious than any wealth. Capricorns do not seek miracles, but they happen to them. Everything they plan seems to be the result of their calculations, but behind each of their successes lies a blessing. God does not allow these people to fall into despair, even when it seems that they have no strength left. It is then that a new chance, a new opportunity, a new path appears. And Capricorn rises again, not because they have to, but because they cannot do otherwise. Their faith is not in rituals, but in action. They do not say, "I believe." They simply live as if God is always near. Their decisions, their steadfastness, their fidelity to words and principles are proof. And so, even when they themselves are not aware of it, they become an example to others. In a world that breaks easily, Capricorn remains whole, because above him is a protection that cannot be seen, but which he feels with unveils with every thought, every step, every breath. The fourth sign is Cancer. Cancer is a sign that God has endowed with a special ability to protect, heal, and feel what others do not even notice. People of this sign have hearts touched by divine kindness. They have an inner silence in which a deep power lives. They do not fight for a place under the sun. God himself keeps a space for them where they are always safe. Cancer does not need loud proof, it just knows. When there is a storm around, someone invisibly covers it. And it is this quiet faith that makes them stronger than many who shout about courage. Cancer is a soul that brings love and compassion to the world. Their life is not a struggle, but a mission to protect others. God is always with them because through them, care, kindness, and mercy are at work. These people are born with the gift of feeling pain that is not even spoken aloud. They understand when to support, when to just be silent, and when to say a word that saves. And God does not ignore such hearts. He covers them with an invisible shield, because he knows that the world is too harsh not to protect those who are capable of loving sincerely. There is always a feeling of comfort around Cancers. They create a space where even the most anxious soul finds peace. Their mission is to bring peace that cannot be bought or taught. God protects them because he knows that through them, goodness comes into the world. It may seem to them that life often throws challenges their way, but each one only strengthens their belief that care and sincerity are not weaknesses, but strengths. Their sensitivity is not a flaw, but a divine tool. They can see what is hidden and feel what is unsaid. That is why God gives them intuition, which saves them from many mistakes. Cancer is never where it does not belong. Higher powers imperceptibly lead it away from people who could betray or destroy trust. Even if Cancer suffers, this pain does not destroy, but purifies. It makes them deeper, wiser, calmer. Such people have a special gift. Their presence can change the atmosphere. Where Cancer is, harmony appears. They do not need to convince or prove anything. Their warmth can be felt even in silence. God has given them the ability to heal not with their hands, but with their hearts. They can lift a person out of despair with a single glance, because there is peace in their eyes. And this peace does not come from the world, but from heaven. Sometimes life tests them by taking away people or situations to which they have become attached. But this is not punishment, it is purification. God takes away what prevents them from shining, because every Cancer is a lantern, and its flame must burn evenly. When it is dark around them, it is these people who show the way to others. And although they rarely ask for help, it always comes at the right moment, through a sign, a person, a coincidence. Everything in their lives is built on an invisible harmony that is protected by something higher. They feel a deep connection to their family, home, and roots. Through this, God reminds them that their strength lies not in money or status, but in their ability to create the world around them. They do not need to conquer. They unite. They don't need to prove themselves. People just listen to them. They don't need to ask. They are given what they need, because their presence is already a blessing. Cancer has a special trait. They never betray those they love. Their loyalty is unconditional, and for this, God protects them from betrayal. Even if people appear in their life who want to take advantage of their kindness, they disappear before they can cause any harm. It is as if an invisible force removes them from their path. Therefore, Cancer can be sure that their heart is under heavenly protection. Such people often have a strong need to do good, even when they themselves are exhausted. And it is at these moments that God sends them support, because their kindness does not disappear in vain. It returns 100-fold, not always materially, but always surely. It can be a chance, a recovery, an unexpected meeting, or simply calm after a storm. Cancer carries deep wisdom. Everything is fleeting except goodness. He understands this not from books, but from life. And that is why God is always with him. When others are looking for miracles, they happen around him. When someone loses faith, it is enough to be near Cancer to feel that it exists. His soul is proof that protection from above is real, because without it, such deep kindness simply could not survive. Their path may be calm on the outside, but on the inside it is constant spiritual work. They purify, support, forgive, and thus keep the world bounded in balance. God does not allow them to break, because without such hearts, the earth would be colder. And so even when Cancer cries, his tears are not about weakness. They are water that nourishes everything around him. And that is why he is always protected, because God protects those who protect others. The fifth sign is Pisces. Pisces is a sign in which God's protection is manifested most subtly, but most deeply. People of this sign seem to have an inner connection with higher powers that is never interrupted. They are born with a special sensitivity to good and evil, with the ability to see what is hidden from most. Their intuition is not just a feeling, it is a voice that speaks from the depths of the soul. And this voice is rarely wrong. God has endowed them with the ability to sense direction even when surrounded by darkness, so they never completely lose their way. Even when it seems that Pisces are lost, they are actually going where an invisible hand is leading them. Their world is a place where the material and spiritual are closely intertwined. Pisces do not live by the laws of logic, they live by the laws of the heart. And it is this heart that is their compass, and God is their support. In the most difficult moments, when others lose faith, theirs only grows stronger. They know that even in darkness there is meaning, and that no pain comes without a reason. God protects them not from storms, but in storms, teaching them to recognize where truth lies and where illusion lies. Pisces have a unique ability to heal. They are not doctors in the usual sense, but their presence relieves tension, their words give hope, and their gaze restores peace. God works through them quietly, without fanfare, but very specifically. Their actions often save others, even if they themselves are not aware of it. They can say a phrase that will change someone's fate, or simply be there at the right moment, and thus avert disaster. This is their gift, and that is why God always keeps them under special protection. Sometimes it seems that life tests Pisces too harshly. Their hearts encounter pain more often than others, but these trials are not meant to break them. They are necessary to reveal a depth in them that cannot be found anywhere else. It is as if God is testing them. Can they remain good even when the world is cruel? And Pisces remain good. They forgive when no one else could. They help those who no longer deserve help. They remain human even when surrounded by indifference. And that is what makes them the favorites of heaven. Such people often do not know how strong they are. Their strength is not in their will, but in their ability to preserve tenderness in a world that does not value it. God protects them in a special way, through signs, intuitive hints, and chance encounters. It seems to them that they make their own decisions, but there is divine participation in each of them. They can sense danger even before it approaches. And even if it seems for a moment that fortune has turned away, that is when the protection begins to work, imperceptibly removing them from harm's way. Pisces are people who carry a deep silence within themselves. They do not argue, prove their case, or shout. Their strength lies in the calmness they radiate. When others panic, Pisces remain balanced, and that is when the forces behind them begin to act. Through them, God reminds us that true power lies in gentleness. For where harshness destroys, kindness heals. They are given an understanding of souls, and this understanding is sometimes difficult. They see when someone is lying, when they are suffering, when they need support. But instead of judging, they simply help silently. Their kindness is unconditional, and that is why God protects them from evil that tries to take advantage of this kindness. Everything that is planned against them ultimately turns into salvation. Therefore, even in the most dangerous situations, they emerge unscathed. Pisces do not live for fame or profit. Their happiness lies in a sense of harmony, in the ability to give without expectations. And God rewards them for this with a special peace of mind. Even when everything around them is falling apart, they have clarity within. Everything will be as it should be. Their faith does not come from books or rituals. It is innate. They always feel the presence of a higher power, in the wind, in the silence, in the gaze of a loved one. And this presence makes them invincible. Sometimes they seem vulnerable, but it is in this vulnerability that their greatness lies. They do not hide behind armor or pretend to be cold. Their openness is a manifestation of faith because they are not afraid to be real. God sees this openness and does not allow it to become a cause of suffering. On the contrary, He sends them people who appreciate their sincerity and situations in which this purity brings rewards. Pisces live in a flow that leads them exactly where they need to go. They do not try to control their lives. They trust. And that is why God guides them more carefully than anyone else. Their failures are lessons. Their victories are confirmation that faith works. They are proof that goodness is never in vain. And as long as they remain themselves, as long as they listen to their hearts, they will always be protected by a force stronger than any danger. Pisces are proof that God's plan exists. For only in them can one see how tenderness and strength combine, how silence becomes prayer, and kindness becomes armor. Their life is a path of trust, and that is why God is always with them, not only protecting them, but also leading them to a deeper understanding that true strength is love.